Magpas Air Ambulance is a life-saving emergency medical service, activated, on average, 4 times a day to the most seriously ill and injured people in our community. People in life-threatening emergencies, when every second counts. The Magpas Air Ambulance medical team consists of a senior doctor and a critical care paramedic on every shift, specially trained in pre-hospital emergency medicine. This means that they have learned how to deliver treatments and carry out procedures at the scene of an emergency that are usually only available in a hospital.
We're able to provide treatments such as anaesthetics in the same way that you might have in a hospital. And we're also able to provide blood transfusions for major trauma patients. And we're able to take over patients' ventilation and breathing and support their life when they may be critically unwell. We're having to do this with only the bags that we've got on our backs. We have a very limited amount of kit. This provides a very different set of challenges from doing the same job in a hospital. Sometimes the conditions that we work in are very challenging as well. We can work anywhere in the outdoor space. So we could be working on the edge of a river, we could be working in a farm, we could be working in the darkness under a bridge. And this again makes the job much more difficult and adds another layer of complexity to what can be already very difficult medical situations. It's a very different environment, obviously, from being in a hospital, and a lot less controlled, a lot more chaotic. So that adds additional challenges to what we do. Because the challenges are so different, we have to be specifically trained to work at Magpas or on an air ambulance. So every year we have a new group of doctors who come and work for the air ambulance and learn the skill on the job.
Alice was 19 years old when she had a cardiac arrest at home and needed the care of the Magpas Air Ambulance team.
It's every parent's nightmare, really, to know that's happening to your daughter. So it's really, really scary, but equally a real relief to have the ambulance crew and then the Magpas crew turn up so quickly, because they really, really did get there quickly and got straight down to the business of caring for Alice.
So there were a number of things that we did for Alice. The first one was we provided CPR. We gained access into her veins and gave her adrenaline. And we put a tube down into her throat so that we could give her 100% oxygen as efficiently as possible. Because one of her lungs wasn't inflating, we also performed a surgical procedure while she was on the kitchen floor, which involved cutting into the side of her chest to allow her lung to re-expand. This would not normally be done by a paramedic crew on a scene. This is something that would either be done by a critical care team, or more usually it would be done in a hospital.
Magpas Air Ambulance is dispatched by both East of England and East Midlands Ambulance Service. When a 999 call comes into the region, critical care paramedics like myself and my colleagues man a critical care desk. We are trained to monitor all 999 calls coming in and search for the most serious cases. We also receive requests directly from ambulance service crews on scene if they need additional support or feel their patient requires life-saving treatments that only an air ambulance can provide. It is in these cases that we dispatch a critical care team such as Magpas Air Ambulance.
Magpas Air Ambulance can be called to anyone at any time, but most frequently attend road traffic collisions, where there can be multiple casualties, serious medical events, such as a person in cardiac arrest, or accidental injuries. Magpas Air Ambulance use a state-of-the-art air ambulance to get the skills of their doctors and paramedics, along with their life-saving equipment, to the patient as quickly as possible.
The helicopter flies at speeds of greater than 160 miles per hour. This means we will fly to anywhere in the region in less than 30 minutes. Given the nature of work we do, we are given priority over other aircraft. This includes priority through international airports. During the hours of darkness, we use night vision goggles. This gives us enhanced visibility, which allows us to fly safely at night.
Magpas Air Ambulance can be dispatched to anywhere across the east of England and into the East Midlands, caring for a population of 10 million. But the majority of their activations are to people in Cambridgeshire, Bedfordshire and the surrounding counties. Magpas Air Ambulance operates 24/7, around the clock every day of the year, using the helicopter between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. and their 3 rapid response vehicles through the night when flying is more complicated and the speed advantage is reduced.
We can be called to anyone at any point. It could be any one of us. But we're most frequently called to men aged 25 to 64. Every week we are called to a child in a life-threatening emergency. These can often be the hardest jobs for us.
This really is medicine at the edge of life and death. And everything Magpas Air Ambulance does is aimed at saving lives, keeping families together, and reducing the long-term impact of a patient's injuries.
When the call comes in, we grab our helmets and head out to the aircraft. We can't help but be aware that this could be a life-changing incident, not just for the patient, but for their family too. That patient's someone's mum, dad, brother or sister. It's a huge responsibility, but also very rewarding knowing that we can make the difference that keeps a family together.
So we were at a swimming lesson in the middle of a field, a good distance away from a hospital. Zach started to feel unwell and then started to have a seizure. I knew that this was really a life-threatening occasion, that perhaps an ambulance wouldn't get to us on time. We were at least half an hour away, and in rush hour traffic I was thinking, will they get here? He was unconscious, he was getting bluer. It was as serious as things can get. I heard this of the air ambulance landing, and then I remember the doctors running across in their big bright orange life-saving uniforms, and they said, you know, it's Magpas Air Ambulance, and they started giving him the oxygen, and he started to get colour in his cheeks, and to stop his seizures they had to give him a life-saving drug. I think if we'd had to wait, I'm not sure whether I'd have this 11-year-old that I've got today, which is a great boy. It feels lucky that I live in a country where there are these services. It feels lucky that people support these things. It feels lucky that doctors give their time to do these things. I think I feel really lucky.
Magpas Air Ambulance is a charity funded by donations. The organisation needs to raise in the region of £6 million every year to keep their helicopter flying, their doctors and paramedics responding 24/7, and their equipment and drugs stocked and ready to save lives.
Magpas Air Ambulance is so fortunate to have support from people within the communities in which we operate. Magpas Air Ambulance is literally powered by people, whether that's our supporters, our donors, our staff, our clinicians, or our volunteers. It really does take all of us now and into the future to continue to save lives. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.